In this box is BMR-X, the new rimfire rifle from Bergara. In this video, we're going to get it out of the box, talk about features and specs, compare it to other Bergara rimfire rifles we have in our collection, and we're also going to have a ton of fun shooting with it. Let's get to it. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. Yes, I'm very excited to have one of the pre-production BMR-X rifles right here. I want to get straight to it. We're going to get this out of the box. I'll give you a quick overview and then we're going to get straight to shooting. So of course we've got the rifle itself. The first thing I noticed when I first handled this rifle was the stock has kind of a rubberized texture to it, which should be really great for enhanced grip. And also it feels like it's going to do a good job insulating from cold weather, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, so, you know, we've already showed you the BMR, which is built on Bergara's micro rimfire action here on the channel. That was a carbon model. This is similar to that rifle, but the barrel's got a heavier contour and the stock really kind of finds that middle place between the minimalistic stock that comes with the traditional BMR, right? It's more of a traditional hunting rifle type of form factor. This kind of finds its way into some of the features that would be kind of present on Bergara's HMR line, the hunting and match rifle, right? We've got a bag hook here. We've got a more vertical grip. We've got a straight cheek comb area here. And we've got a forend that is definitely very much reminiscent of the HMR rifle line. We've also got flush cups front and rear. This rifle comes with a 5-round magazine, which is a little bit more flush fitting, and a 10-round magazine. And so that's going to stick down a little bit further and would be good for something like, you know, NRL 22 match shooting. The muzzle is threaded. This is the carbon model. It's also available with a steel barrel, so we can run a tuner or a suppressor if that's something that you want to do. I love to shoot suppressed 22 LR, especially if I'm shooting something like squirrels or rock chucks, because I don't need to have hearing protection. And it's just a super fun platform to introduce new shooters to, and you know, that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got the rifle, we've got 2 magazines, nice packaging as usual. We've also got some printed materials from Bergara here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is find an optic to put on this rifle. I'm going to get it sighted in, and we'll talk about how this rifle shoots with different lots and different SKUs of ammo. So after looking around the shop, I selected the Athlon Midas Tac 5-25 by 56 scope. It's one that I've used all over the place in a variety of applications. We've also got a Lone Star bubble level. The level is pretty important with rimfire because, as you guys know, the further you get out on your trajectory, the more things are influenced. Compared to centerfire, it's literally night and day. And so a bubble level is going to help me keep things on my dope, as it were, there. And so with that, it's time to go get this thing sighted in. So to start off our shooting, we went up to the Ultimate Reloader Ridgeline range, and it's really fun. We just got tracks for the side-by-side. It means we can blast up and down the hill and not have to worry about plowing, which was just a real rodeo at times. So it was awesome to be able to drive straight up there. I did a quick bore sight at 50 yards, and then the most amazing thing happened. We started with Lapua Center X ammunition. I went to shoot my first 5-shot group, and this was the result. Wow. It definitely likes that ammo. That's amazing. Center X is a winner. So that group, for 5 shots at 50 yards, measures .220 inches. Amazing. And I then tried SK high velocity match, right? This ammo has performed well for us. The first 5 shots with the SK high velocity match at 50 yards went into .291 inches. The next group went into .275. This thing is shooting amazing. I then switched back over to Center X. 5 shots went into .296, and then one more group with Center X. 5 shots went into .469. So all of these are sub half-inch groups at 50 yards, and most of them are in the sub .3 inch range at 50 yards. Absolutely outstanding results. Now, in terms of velocity, we had 1,044 feet per second average for the Center X and 1,132 feet per second average for the SK high velocity match. So with a really good zero and with velocity data, I decided to go to 100 yards on a steel rock chalk target to kind of see how my dope was going to look. It's actually, I think, 114 yards exactly from, the shooting bench. Got my dope very slightly low, right? And then we walked over to 200 yards. So far this thing is an amazing shooter, and looking forward to seeing how it's going to do at a little bit more extended range here. So this branch should be right at 200, and I'm going to use our 5-round magazine. We've got the 5 and the 10 here. The 5 sits nice and flush, which is pretty nice. And then I think we're at 7.2 dial up is what I calculated for 200 based on this velocity. Okay, I've got the little rascal here, and I'm going to focus on my bubble level while I'm acquiring the target. Hey, there we go. That was a hit somewhere. Nice. Okay, we're a little low too. Nice. Left edge. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's it. Okay. So we had to come up to 8, and we had to hold, that was, man, I'm going to say about a 1/4 mil to the left. Yeah. Not a whole lot of wind, but just enough to make that a little bit challenging. So that was a fun sequence, shooting off the tree at 200 yards. I had to make some corrections. I had to dial up a little bit, but once I was on target, it was pretty easy to stay on target at 200 yards with a rimfire, which, with rimfire, it's fun because you go out another 100 yards and the game just completely changes. 200 is not too bad, but we have pushed Bergara rifles up to 511 yards. You're going to want to check out that story if you do have a chance. So we got some of our favorite steel targets from DM Targets in motion. One of them was the spinner. That was a lot of fun. I definitely need a lot more practice on that target. If you get really good at it, you can get it to spin completely, which I got it to, but then you can, right before it comes over the top, you can hit the top target, which is the smaller target, while it's on the bottom, and just force it over the top and do a bunch of fun dynamics like that. It'd also be fun to get out the KYL rack from DM Targets, which also has provided us with a lot of fun with these rimfire rifles. Okay, so after all that fun, came back down here to the Ultimate Reloader shop and put on a suppressor and did some shooting in our industrial yard. That was a lot of fun as well. Now that is fun. I could just do this all day. Okay, so Shooting wise, amazing. Feeding was awesome. I did have a couple jams because I didn't linger at the back or short stroked it. But if you do a complete cycling of the bolt, seems to feed great with the ammunition that we tried and with the 5-round magazine and the 10-round magazine. The thing I like about the 5-round magazine, honestly, is the fact that it sits almost flush here. So when we were shooting off of that tree branch at the 200-yard target, we had really nice support of the bag all under the rifle, and with that type of a barricade, that made that work really well. The 10-rounder obviously is going to be kind of a more general all-around solution. I could see shooting ground squirrels and just kind of keeping after it and emptying a 10-round mag pretty fast. The suppressor is great because you don't need hearing protection, and it makes that reactive sound on the steel target just so loud in comparison to anything else. It just really stands out prominently. Again, I could definitely shoot that kind of steel targets, different scenarios, that sort of stuff all day with these rimfire rifles. Totally awesome. Okay, so putting it in perspective, the BMR-X sits kind of in the middle of Bergara's now expanded lineup of rimfire rifles. So on the lower end, we've got BMR, and we did a full review on BMR Carbon. You're going to want to check out that story. BMR Carbon and BMR Steel starts at $619 and $719 respectively. Is going to be a value price rifle. It's going to have some of the same characteristics as this rifle, thinner barrel, a different stock, that kind of thing. But you only need to spend an extra $100 to go from BMR to BMR-X, which I would suggest because I like the design of this stock better. It's got a heavier contour barrel, and as an overall package, that just seems like a really good value for a $100 upgrade. So BMR-X Steel, $719 MSRP. This exact rifle here, $819 MSRP. Now the real question is, if you walk into a store or you're buying from an online retailer, what is your street price going to be, right? I'm calling those both street price here because they're going to potentially be less than the MSRP. That'll be interesting to see. Okay, so BMR-X is in the middle, and then we move up to the B14R. This is more or less a trainer rifle that's more like the centerfire lineup. The stocks and the actions are actually completely interoperable, right? So you could take your B14R and you could throw a Remington 700 rifle into the stock, or a centerfire, Bergara HMR rifle, something like that, right? So the B14R is really the premium lineup from Bergara in this rimfire series. The steel starts at $1129 and carbon starts at $1229. So it's only a $100 price difference between the steel and carbon, which I found actually to be closer in pricing than I would have thought. Okay, so when we did our initial review of the BMR rifle, we took the Bergara Performance trigger, the entire rifle, and put it on the trigger scan that we have. We have the trigger scan TS11, which produces a force distance plot. This was the result. This BMR-X has the same trigger. Right at around 2.5 pounds, consistent trigger pull, really clean. And, the nice thing about this rifle is it's got a Remington 700 style trigger. So you can upgrade the trigger to something that's lighter in weight, or a 2-stage, kind of whatever you want to do, kind of like with the B14R, right? So the flexibility is there, but this trigger is going to do a great job for those of you that don't need a super light trigger. Okay, so at the end of the day, I think this is a really great rifle, and it's a really great value. BMR-X, available in steel or carbon, are shot amazingly well. Very reasonable price. And I would say this makes just a really great all-rounder precision rimfire rifle, right? If you don't want to spend over $1,000, looks like you could get into this for quite a bit less, especially with street prices. This is really a great rifle to look at. The quality is there. It shoots amazing. It functions reliably. It doesn't leave a lot on the table, in my opinion. But what I'd really like to know is, what do you think of the new BMR-X? What do you think of the features? What do you think of the construction? What do you think of the color of the stock? Drop a comment in that comment section and we can discuss. Don't be surprised if you see this rifle in future Rimfire stories, because I really like this thing. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.